everybody. I hope that you are doing well. Welcome to Michelle's Inspiration Hour. And I just hope that with each episode, you feel empowered, you feel like there is hope in the world, and most of all, that you are inspired. Everybody has a story. And that's one reason why I love doing this podcast because I learn so much. Because sometimes we get in our own little boxes and we don't want to come out because we're like protected. So it's so much fun to learn about other people's story. Now, before I begin, I'm going to explain something. Our next guest took a year-long journey to discover what the true meaning of love actually is. I'm going to read, and this is my favorite verse, 1 Corinthians 13, that is about love. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and love never fails. Our guest, Kim Sorrelle, is the director of a humanitarian organization, popular speaker, and the author of 2 books. Her first book, Cry Until You Laugh, is about her and her husband's battle with cancer after being diagnosed just 4 months apart. Her second book, Love Is, chronicles her year-long quest to figure out the true meaning of love. A sometimes funny, sometimes scary, always enlightening journey that led to life-changing discoveries found mostly on the streets of Haiti. So let's go ahead and get her on before I go any longer into her life because I want her to explain everything about her experience. So Kim, thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Michelle, first of all, thank you for doing the show. It's
Oh,
amazing. It should be
absolutely.
at the
Well,
top
thank
of
you.
everybody's podcast list. I love it. And thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, well, and you know what? And I know we were talking earlier. I read your book, Love Is, and that's when I'm finding out I really don't know anything about the world. Did I know about Haiti? I'm not for sure. And then when I'm reading, going through the book, I'm going, oh my gosh, she is a saint. I don't know if I could actually do what you did, go into Haiti, how dangerous it was. And reading the book, I was just going, I'm so glad that you are alive today. And you know that, and I love putting that you are a world changer underneath your name because that's how I really felt about it. So let's start from the beginning. I know I'm kind of jumping around. So how did you come up with what inspiration did you come up with whenever you said, or you decided to do that nonprofit organization? It's called Rays of Hope International. How did what experience did you come to that said, I need to do this?
Well, my first trip to Haiti was in 1998, and it is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And the poverty there is thick. And there are no McDonald's, there are no Walmarts, there are no most anything. There's not even a movie theater. There's
Mm.
there's nothing. And so there's a whole lot of people that have a passion, a mission, a vision to do something to help people in their own country. So they understand the need, they understand the language, they understand the culture, and they just need someone to walk alongside.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so that's what we do. So sometimes it's a school or a medical clinic, but it's awful hard to have a school without pencils or
Yes.
medical equipment without bandages and
Mhm.
equipment. And so we started sending containers, shipments with stuff that you couldn't buy in Haiti to these projects to help them out, as well as doing other things to help them out. And so I've worked with a few hundred organizations in Haiti, and but I also work at Dominican Republic, Burkina Faso, some other places, and so it was just seeing the need, and
Right.
nobody
Right.
seemed to be doing it. So we decided let's make it happen.
And you did, and you made it happen, and we'll go more into whenever we're talking about the book and your journey about finding the definition of love. But let's go ahead and first talk about your first book, okay? The inspiration behind it. And it is Cry Until You Laugh, the real love, the real pain, and the real funny. So kind of tell us about the inspiration and what really inspired you to do that.
Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, a Friday afternoon phone call, so I couldn't even call back and say, "What? What am I supposed to
Oh,
do?" It's kinda like, "You've got breast cancer, we'll call you on Tuesday."
oh my
And
gosh.
so the next thing I did, the next day, I went to the bookstore, and everything seemed to be depressing or real medical, and I wanted to know, are there choices? Like, what am I supposed
Mhm.
to do? Do I go to just one doctor? I didn't know what it was like, I didn't know anything.
Right,
And so I started writing kind of as a way to update family and friends. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow, kind of a thing. But so much more than that. It's what I was going through and decisions I had to make and, the whole thing and what I was feeling and
mm,
my journey through. And before I knew it, 5,000 people were reading the emails I was sending out. And then I was still writing because I was still going through my stuff 4 months later when my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
right.
And and then he passed away 6 weeks after that, and so I was still writing, so I wrote for a little over a year. And, so it's the whole unexpected journey that I took and difficult one, and you have to cry until you laugh. I mean, it's what you have to do. Crying is great, like, you need to,
Right, right.
but sometimes people need permission to laugh again,
Yes.
and so everyone out there, you got permission to
And you
laugh.
know what? I love what you said that you went to the bookstore and you found, and it seems like you do
Yep.
this. You found a need. And so you're going, you know what? I need to go ahead and write this book because, there are so many people that it's almost like, this the cancer word. We hear more too often than what we need to. And it is a scary thing. But if somebody gets a hold of a book that's more inspirational and know that they're going to be okay through it, that you give them that hope and to carry on, because like you said, it is very scary, and bless your heart finding out on a Friday. So did you worry the whole entire weekend? I mean, that is, oh, that would
Oh,
be,
my.
that would be so
Yes.
hard.
Yeah, I mean, I had no I right, right. I mean, I've watched Lifetime movies. I love Lifetime movies, and you're always sitting across the desk from the doctor, hanging on to your husband, and then they deliver the news, and so I thought that's how you found out about things like that, not over the phone, Friday afternoon, but that's yeah.
It's absolutely horrible. Okay, so then let's move forward. So then you decide that you want to go on a quest on finding the definition of what love truly is. So tell us how you got started with that.
Well, losing my husband, I was married for almost 29 years. I got married young. I was 47 years old and single. And expected to be 95 years old and sitting on a rocker on a front porch, drinking lemonade, smiling at the man I love, or whatever it is 95-year-olds do, sitting on a porch. And then that dream was gone. That life that I thought I had was gone. And so I questioned a few things. But the biggest thing I questioned was love, the true meaning of love, because I wanted to know that I was doing this thing right. I wanted to honor my husband in the way that I lived and make sure I knew how to live, like what I was supposed to do. But there seems to be this mystery around love. Like Ed Sheeran sings about it, Nicholas Sparks writes about it, whatever. But there's still this, what is love really? And so I decided, well, nobody's really done this. I need to find out for myself. And I figured I would do this, I would dedicate this year and write as I went. And if nobody ever read it, if it never became a book, I needed to do it for myself.
And I am glad you did. So did you go back to Haiti to experience more things, or did you just stay at home and think about the experiences that you've had, or how did you go about going on your journey?
Oh, yeah, no, when I was ready to go back to
Mhm.
work after getting through my health stuff. I wasn't sure what I was going to
Right.
do. If I was going to go back into my businesses, but I had people running them, or back into the nonprofit world, or I didn't know what I was going to do. And I started as part-time bookkeeper for the nonprofit that my father and I started.
Mhm.
And this gentleman was running. And I thought, well, I'll do that and take life slow and see where I'm supposed to go. And
Mhm.
12 days later, there was an earthquake in Haiti that killed 200,000 people.
Okay.
So I went from part-time bookkeeper to 24/7, and within 2 weeks I was in Haiti.
Mhm.
And then I spent at least part of every month in Haiti for the next several
Okay.
years.
Okay.
So the stories from Haiti, the things that were happening are real time, real life. I That's where I was in Haiti when I was on this quest to find the true meaning of love.
And I really love in your book, I love how you break up each chapter. You know, you took the information from Corinthians 1, and each chapter you asked, you know, you kind of broke it apart like love is patient. And that's that's one of the chapters I thought, oh my gosh, because each chapter that you had, you you had a prayer at the very end, okay? And I'm gonna, if is it okay with you if I share with the listeners? And this is the first chapter, and I thought, man, this is one I need to read over and over again. And it says, Lord Jesus, I think of all of the times that I have not shown patient love, nodding my head as if I was listening while my mind was already on the next task. Lord, help me to live in the moment. Help me to have patient love. I desire patience, patience that waits, patient love. And this time I really mean it. So I love how you talk about all your different experiences. And you also include not only Haiti experiences, but things that have happened in your family. And then you have a prayer at the end that really summarizes everything. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's so concrete and a lot of great humor in it. um it's like during serious times, then you would kind of throw in a joke or satire in there, and I thought that is so funny and I really enjoyed that.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you. I really
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
that.
and do you mind if I'm going to talk about some of the things that you went through in Haiti? And you found the love. I
Sure.
mean, that tells you what kind of person you really are. But when you were sleeping outside, I mean, you know, you had to sleep outside because these men were not wanting you in the same room, and there's just no room anyway. So you slept outside and you woke up to a chicken, and I thought, you know what? I'd be petrified. I don't know if I could actually do. So it really makes the reader understand what you are going through because you walk through it so well. And then of course, whenever you've got the containers full of resources, you got the medical supplies, the school supplies, you know, everything in that container. And so you go, you know what? It's misplaced or whatever, and I'm going to go talk to the president. How did you get past? I mean, I was going, oh my gosh, I mean, you must be strong because you're saying, I'm going to speak to the president. I'm going to get things changed. I'm going to get this done. And by God, you did.
Yeah, well, I have a good friend who says that I am the dumbest smart person she knows. And so I just don't see the limitations. I just figure, people are people all over
Oh,
the world.
absolutely.
And so why can't I just walk in, and why would I get chased by a motorcycle gang? I mean, obviously not all the decisions that I made were necessarily wise decisions, but sometimes you do stuff just to get it done, I
Well,
guess.
and that really that makes you human, and it really, you know, it lets the reader really resonate with you and go, you know what? I couldn't do that, but I'm glad somebody's out making a difference. And I'm going to make my own difference in the world my own way. And I think that's fabulous because yeah, if you look back and you realize, wait, did I actually do that? You probably wouldn't have been able to get done as much as you could. Now was I right in reading somewhere that you actually adopted someone from Haiti? Is that correct?
From Dominican
Okay.
Republic. I've got a son.
Okay.
He was older when he came into our lives, but he is my son from the
Oh,
Dominican
that's all. Now,
Republic.
does he still live there or does he live here in the States?
He kind of was going back and forth for a while, but he is mostly in the Dominican Republic. He runs everything that we do there.
Wow.
He's fabulous. We have schools and medical clinic and vocational training and community projects, water
Yeah.
projects, and he runs it all. He's
And what
fabulous.
is his first name? That's right.
Christian.
Okay. You said it in the book and I just could not remember. It's okay. So it's Christian, which is awesome that you've got that connection. Now, I went to the website and I went to your Facebook page and everything, and you do have pictures of things that you talk about in the book, which I thought really made, it's like, oh, I can see the containers now and y'all working and everything. And it just seemed like, there's so many people there that were wanting to make a difference. So, while you were finding out what the definition of love is, what things did you find out about it that kind of surprised you?
Oh my word, there were so many things that surprised me. So many of the words sound so easy,
Right.
right? Patience, kind, whatever, doesn't envy. Of course, love doesn't envy.
Hmm.
Some things just seem so obvious, but every single one of them is different than what I thought it was going to
Hmm.
be. Every single
Right.
one. I figured out that if you put love is or love is not in front of a word, a phrase,
Hmm.
it changes everything. And I figured out that we're taught wrong. Some of the things we're taught about love are not accurate. Like, you often hear love's a two-way
Hmm.
street, and it's
Hmm.
not. Love is 100% on you. If you give love to get love, that's like giving money for a pair of jeans. It's a transaction, and love is not a transaction,
Right.
right? We have no control over anybody but ourselves. So if you give love to get it in return, you're setting yourself up for heartache and disappointment, and that's not what love does. Love loves,
Hmm.
period. So it is 100% on you. It is not a two-way street. It is one way all
I
the way.
love that. I love how you bring that up because, yeah, you're right. That a lot of times they say it is a two-way street. And the one thing that really surprised me, love is not unsolicited advice. Okay. And you know what?
Right.
As a mother, we tend to give our children a lot of advice that they're not looking for or needing at the time, especially when they get older, and it's like you want to give them that advice. And so I really love that too. How you brought that into the book. And that's a great explanation of that you are the one that gives love. It's not like an exchange. That
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. And you love with no expectations too. I mean, I think people get wrapped up in
Mhm.
expectations. And and then if your expectations aren't met, then you're disappointed. Well, love has zero expectations. Love is kind because that's what love
Oh,
is.
absolutely.
And, yeah, and often you might hear somebody say, "Oh my gosh, they didn't even say thank you,"
Oh,
or
right.
"I was sick and brought them my casserole. Where's my casserole?" Whatever.
Right.
But that might be kind. You might be doing something kind, but that's not love that is kind.
Yes.
So love has zero expectations.
And I really think that it's timely that your book is definitely coming out right now because I think there's so many people that need to read the book. Now, do you think, and I read somewhere where you said that even if you're not a Christian, this is a book for you because it's almost like
Mhm.
because to me, like in Corinthians, whenever it's talking about love, it's kind of like almost like poetry.
Right, yeah, it is. It's a beautiful poem,
Yes,
really.
yes. So do you go
Yeah,
to different organizations besides Christian, churches and speak? Do you go to different organizations and talk about your book and stuff?
I
Oh, good.
do, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 18, and so the business world is pretty familiar to
Oh,
me.
good. Yeah.
And so I talk to businesses because love changes everything. Love is universal.
Mhm.
It's there are some things that are universal, but very few, really. we all breathe.
Mhm.
That's universal, right?
Right.
But love is universal. So it crosses all lines. It crosses every line that we draw on a map, crosses race, crosses nationality, it crosses
Mhm.
everything. And so it is really for everybody. Love is for
Oh,
everybody.
absolutely.
And the more that people really understand it and live it, the better our world's gonna be.
And like I said, just the way that you took that Corinthians apart and just gave examples, it makes it so true to life. And again, I think thank you for doing that as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So somebody um that you just met, and we don't have to talk about love or anything, but what if they're having like a horrible day? So what inspiration can you give them? What is something you could tell somebody that needs to be inspired?
Times, like you brought up unsolicited advice, and I think that was perfect thing to bring up because so often when you run into somebody who's going through a hard time, having a bad day, we just want to say, well, geez, if you just did this, or my gosh, if you did this, and we try to fix people, right? We try to give them this advice. Well,
Right.
unsolicited advice is unsolicited. People don't want to hear it. And so, love that is
Mhm.
patient would say to be there for the person and truly listen without having your rebuttal ready, your advice ready, without your mind someplace else on what you have to do later, but really
Mhm.
be present in the moment and truly open your ears, open your mind, and listen to what they have to say. And a lot of times when people are going through a hard time, just having somebody listen can change everything for them. You don't have to say anything back. You just have to show that you love them, that
Mhm.
you care enough that you'll be an ear for them.
And put that cell
Yeah,
phone down.
for sure. Put yourself on them.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people will go,
Right.
"Oh, my phone," while they're trying to listen. But you're right because you're loving them, you're accepting them who they are if you just listen because there's so many people who are lonely out there, and they just need somebody to listen to them. So that is some fabulous
Yeah, well,
advice.
it is so true. It's interesting to me. We're all
Mhm.
so unique, right? Like sometimes I think about the Mona Lisa.
Mhm.
If the Mona Lisa ever went up for sale, how many millions and millions and millions? I mean, I don't even know how much money it would go for. And it's because it's a one of a kind masterpiece. And so are you. There is nobody who has ever been exactly like you. There's nobody who ever will be exactly like you. Nobody has walked in your shoes. You are a one of a kind masterpiece created by the master to be exactly who you are. And so love doesn't compare. Love just loves people for who they are and
Mhm.
love yourself for who you are. Because there's no judgment, no condemnation, no anything else with love. Love just allows yourself to be who you believe you're created to be and allow everybody else to be who they believe that they are created to be.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't say that, and you can just tell whenever you're expressing that you are just showing true love, through your own soul to
Mhm.
everybody else. So thank you, Kim, so much. Is there anything else that we did not talk about that you want to make sure that we get it
Well,
into
I
this
would say
segment?
one thing that I think is important is that we think of love quite often as a feeling or an emotion, but it isn't. Love is
Mhm.
not a feeling. If you watch a scary movie, that night you hear every creak, every bump, right? And you're kind of still scared because you're living in this fear, but you don't live
Right.
in fear forever. That feeling goes away, right? Fear is
Mhm.
an emotion. Fear is a
Right.
feeling and an emotion. Love is something that you are. You never
Right.
walk away from love. It's not like you go home and hang it up in the closet. Love is who you are, and how you
Mhm.
decide to live love is up to you.
Right. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for going to ahead and explaining that. So what is next on your
Well,
agenda for Kim? What
Yeah,
are
a
you going to
couple
do
real
next?
cool things are exciting things are happening.
Okay.
One, I'm writing
Oh,
a book
cool.
on grief with a medium who this friend of
Oh,
mine who's fabulous. Yes, and I also was approached and signed a contract to host a TV show. Yes.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Really? And so what is the theme of the TV show?
Well, it's a network that doesn't have any
Okay.
Christian content. And so a talk show, but a real down to earth talk show, just real
The
life,
nitty-gritty
real
stuff.
stuff with
That
yeah,
that
exactly,
people
exactly.
yeah, that people, yes, so
Real
that
life
people
stuff.
need to know how to heal and everything. So, okay, so I gotta go back. You said, you're gonna write a book with a medium with through the grieving stages. So what made you I know she's your friend, but what made you think, "I need to have a medium point of view as well?"
She actually approached me. She really felt led that we're supposed to do this thing together, and, with grief, yeah, there's the stages of grief, but not everybody goes through them, and so sometimes I've heard people say that they're grieving wrong, and they feel like they're not doing it right, and there's not a right or wrong to grief. People need to know your grief is your grief, and you shouldn't judge other people's grief, and people need permission to kinda get out from under the grief sometimes too. So
I agree totally, and I think it's very well needed, especially, bringing in that medium because a lot of people who are practicing as psychic mediums, they need to realize about the different grieving processes that everybody goes through. Because if you don't like, if you have somebody that is still grieving so much, and they may not be able to get the message that they really
mm.
need until they get further in their grieving. So that is oh, I'm excited. So when will this book come
Well,
out?
that's a really good question. I would think that it's probably gonna take us another 6 months or so to finish it, and
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
hopefully this year, we'll
Oh,
see.
it's
Yeah.
fabulous. Okay, and the TV show, when will that come
So
out?
4 to 6 weeks is when.
Oh my gosh, so that
Yes, yeah,
soon.
and this network airs on Roku TV and on Amazon
Right.
Fire TV and Spotify TV and, a bunch of different, platforms like that, and so, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, congratulations, Kim.
Thanks.
See, that's fabulous. And when you were younger, would you imagine yourself where you are today?
No, 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 not at all. When I was in high school, I was gonna be the first woman president. That's where I imagine myself to
Oh,
be. Now I don't really wanna be in the office,
of
but I'm
course.
younger than the current president, so I've got time if I really wanted to, but I think I put that aside.
Of course, and see, that just shows how genuine and how much energy and wanting to get things done and changing. That is fabulous, Kim. That is fabulous. Are you ready for the last question of
I
the
am ready.
day? Everybody always goes, okay, let's get it ready. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spin it. It even comes with its own sound effects, which I really love. Oh, oh, okay. I wasn't for sure. It was on the line. Okay, so what that question is, do you believe in reincarnation?
I think that's such an interesting question. I think there's so much that really is a mystery. Some people know that they know, and other
Yes.
people know that they know not, right? But I think the in between of that is
Right.
that sometimes people are afraid to even open up to the idea of something like reincarnation, right? Like that could be a
Mhm.
subject that for many people is very
Right.
difficult to even approach. And for other people, it's very natural. And it's like, well, yes, of course, it's what it is. And so I think it's
Mhm.
something that I think takes a lot of personal exploration. And I think going back to love, that's part of the beauty of love is people can have different opinions and it's perfectly fine to have different
Right.
opinions, and
Right.
to come to things on your own
Absolutely.
is a perfectly fine way to be.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, and I love to hear other people's opinions because you learn so much. If somebody believes in reincarnation and why they believe in reincarnation. So, yeah, so to me, it just kind of opens up the box of there's more mystery out there than what we know. And God doesn't show us everything, for a reason.
Right. Yeah.
And we'll get there. We'll learn and seek for ourselves. But there are certain things that we aren't supposed to learn. And I know that I did talk to somebody who did hypnosis to help people remember their reincarnation, their past lives. And he said that it can be dangerous because we are here not to remember our past lives, but to move forward.
Interesting.
And I thought, that's an interesting thought as
Mhm.
well. All right, Kim. So where can they reach
Well,
you?
I am literally the only Kim Sorrelle spelled my way in the entire world because my last name is ridiculous. It
Oh,
has
wow.
way too many letters, 2 R's, 2 E's, 2 L's, Sorrelle. My website is
Right.
kimsorrelle.com. Love is pretty findable, an
Mm.
easy title to remember, and if you Google Love Is, chances are I'm gonna pop up, and, I'm on the
Mhm.
social platforms and wherever. I love connecting with people. I love hearing from people. I've got a free 14-day love challenge on my website that
Oh,
if you
right.
sign up for it, I will send you for free a WWLD, What Would Love Do wristband. Because if you can answer any question like that, you're going to be doing the right thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. I want to call you the next superwoman. Or give you a title of I'm into superheroes. So I'm going to call you a superwoman because you have done so many things. And, I know God and the angels are just hugging you for it all and just helping you, spread those crumbs along the way. So thank you so much for doing everything that you're
Yeah, well,
doing.
everybody does their thing, right? I mean, I feel
Right.
privileged that I was
Right.
able to take a year in Haiti to figure out love, like,
Right.
and not everybody can do that,
Absolutely.
and now people don't have to because I wrote the
Yeah.
book. I did everybody's homework for them, so wrote that, yeah.
That's right. You don't have to
No,
go to Haiti, except unless you want to volunteer and to
right.
really help, because that is a big mission in itself. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you soon. And you know where to find Kim. And remember what love is.